Someone texts you, you don't want to answer, but you feel like you should. Someone calls, you don't want to pick up, but you feel guilty for letting it ring. Someone asks for your time, you give it to them even though you were already exhausted. And eventually, you start wondering, when did everyone else's access to me become more important than my access to myself? Because being available looks like kindness from the outside. But psychologically, constant availability can become a form of self-abandonment. And the strange part is, most of the time, nobody is actually forcing you to respond. There is no emergency. Nobody is standing over you demanding an answer. It's just a message sitting there, a notification, a missed call, a little red number on a screen. And somehow, your brain turns it into an obligation. You could be eating dinner, watching something, reading, or finally sitting alone after a long day, and suddenly there's something else you feel you should be doing. Answer, explain, react, reassure, be present. And if you don't, you start imagining what the other person might think. Are they upset? Did I ignore them? Should I explain myself? Maybe I should just answer quickly. So you do. And then another person needs something. Then another. And without realizing it, your attention becomes a public resource. Everyone gets a small piece of it, a few seconds here, a few minutes there, a quick reply, a quick call, a quick favor. None of these things seem significant on their own, but your brain doesn't experience them as isolated moments. It experiences them as unfinished obligations waiting in the background. And that's why you can spend an entire day doing almost nothing and still feel mentally exhausted, because you were never completely off. Part of your mind was always waiting to be needed, waiting for the next notification, the next question, the next person who might want something from you. And this is where constant availability becomes more dangerous than simple distraction. Because eventually, you don't just lose your attention to other people. You start organizing your entire day around the possibility that someone might need you. You stop asking, what do I want to do right now? And start asking, who might need something from me? And if you've lived like this long enough, there's a question you may not have considered yet. What happens when everyone else's needs become so loud that you can barely hear your own? What happens is subtle. You become very good at knowing what everyone else wants while becoming strangely disconnected from what you want. You know who needs a reply, who needs reassurance, who might be disappointed, who expects you to show up. But when the noise finally stops and nobody's asking anything from you, you might not even know what to do with yourself. And that's the deeper psychological cost of constant availability. It doesn't just consume your time, it can make other people's priorities feel more important than your own. Because every time you immediately abandon what you're doing to answer someone, you're sending yourself a small message. What I was doing can wait. My attention can wait. My needs can wait. And once in a while, that's completely normal. But repeat it hundreds of times, every week, for years, and it becomes a habit. You become conditioned to respond before you even ask yourself whether you want to. That's why setting a boundary can feel strangely uncomfortable. You leave a message unanswered for an hour, and nothing bad happens. But your mind keeps checking. You feel guilty. You feel rude. You wonder if you should explain, because somewhere along the way, being immediately available became part of your identity. You weren't just answering people anymore. You were proving that you were a good friend, a good partner, a good colleague, a good person. And this is where we need to question something we've been taught. Does being available all the time actually make you more caring? Maybe not. Because if your kindness requires you to constantly override yourself, eventually that kindness turns into resentment. You answer when you don't want to. You show up when you're exhausted. You listen when you have nothing left to give. And eventually, you start resenting the very people you were trying so hard to be there for. Not because they did something terrible, but because you never gave yourself permission to say, not right now. That's why being unavailable isn't necessarily selfish. Sometimes it's the only way to protect the parts of you that constantly giving away your attention has been eroding. You don't have to disappear from everyone's life. You don't have to become cold. You don't have to ignore everyone. You simply have to stop treating every request for your attention like an emergency. Because your attention is finite, your energy is finite, and your life is finite. Not everyone needs access to you at every moment. And you don't need to explain every moment when you're unavailable. Sometimes you can let the phone ring, sometimes you can answer tomorrow. Sometimes you can spend an entire evening doing absolutely nothing for anyone else. And that isn't neglect. It's having a life that belongs to you. So the next time someone messages you and you feel that familiar pressure to respond immediately, pause. Not because they don't matter, but because you matter too. The goal was never to become unreachable. It was to remember that you are allowed to be unreachable sometimes. Because the real psychological cost of always being available isn't that everyone can reach you. It's that you slowly forget how to be alone with yourself. And maybe the most important boundary you'll ever set isn't the one you make with other people. It's the one that finally gives some of your attention back to you.